So what I want to ask is,
Mhm.
how is it possible, or to please explain how someone can be a fractal of another's soul?
Yes, very good question. So basically, because there's oversouls and higher souls that are gigantic beings, higher souls and oversouls are really the highest levels of source herself, himself, in an embodiment of energetic embodiment. Okay, so then what these higher selves and oversouls do now is you can imagine it like the lotus flower. So the lotus flower, the seed at the center could be seen as source, and then all the petals are higher selves and oversouls, the petals that surround the seed, right? So then we as higher selves and oversouls are all petals of this flower, but then are still connected to the source seed, right? Because the petal is always connected to the source seed. And even then, when the flower keeps expanding and more petals keep expanding, that you can see that as the dimensions too, because the more that the layers extend out, right? So the more of the, you could say, lower down incarnations, dimensions, and keep expanding. But the closest petals to the seed could be seen as the direct oversouls. And then the next seed, the next row of petals would be, say, the higher selves. So then what the oversouls and the higher selves do is that they make a little mini me of themselves, and then this little piece of them that is still them, never separate from higher self, then incarnates in different dimensions, realms, existences, or are just collective star energy. There's many different versions that they could be, dragons and so on. So when you understand that, then you understand that when we're looking at the highest level of oversouls, how all these different seeds that they seeded off from themselves, many versions of them, come from the same, say, higher self. So then someone could still be, so there could be, several divine mother essences, you can say, on earth, fractals that came directly from her. But then there's also higher selves and oversouls that also came from mother, but they're at another level that could create these essences as well. So basically, it's one higher self oversoul then creates many versions of themselves, and these many versions are multiple fractals. There's could be an infinite or many fractals of themselves because they're gigantic in collective energy. So they can't be limited to one little fractal on Earth. They most likely will have multiples on Earth or other planetary spheres. Does that make sense? I think I did good.
Yeah, it makes sense. Can I just ask to elaborate on one more thing about it?
Yes.
Can then, with that fractal, could that fractal exist in multiples in the same dimensional experience? Well, in this case, let's just say Earth.
Yes, there could be multiples of you on Earth
Okay.
assisting you. Every one of them is assisting each other through different lessons and experiences.
Right. I mean, but we don't necessarily know each other as that. We just kind of gravitate toward each other naturally.
Yes.
Right.
You
Okay.
can, though, be aware if you're really connected and shielding and connecting yourself with your third eye. You can be aware when you meet another you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Great questions.
So there's a bunch of things, and from before, but let's just whittle it down. You're looking out into the cosmos with your eyes, which are beautiful, mind you, and you see it in a kaleidoscope of colors. Correct? That's what you first started with. Kaleidoscope of colors,
Yes.
not the lines, not the dimensions, just the kaleidoscope of colors. What does it look like?
It looks like waves of rainbows, plasmic light that is moving and changing and mixing with one another. a bit like if you were to mix colors together and make a color, but it's happening everywhere. Very beautiful.
So it's 360 degrees all around you, underneath you,
Everywhere.
around you, all of it.
It just goes on and on. It's like a plane of existence. It just goes on. Mm-hmm.
Cool. We should make a movie about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you did already. You put us on the 2 movies that I haven't watched yet.
Which ones?
Doctor Strange and
Oh, yeah.
the Ant-Man or whatever.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Okay, well,
That's
I
a
have to watch
good
that.
way to explain it. Yeah.
Next on the agenda
Yes.
is if you and you will be having another session on artificial insemination,
Yes.
but just a technical point, if you have artificial insemination and you're starting from an egg, which is organic, and you're starting from a semen, which is organic, and it changes to not organic,
Mhm.
where does the organic energy go?
So it still remains, but it's like a hybrid.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that. Okay,
Yeah.
hybrid.
So
That makes sense.
I'm not saying all babies though that might have that would have had artificially inseminated would be like that, but there'd be definitely something very different about them because they were created in some artificial material.
Right. Okay, I got the hybrid part. Yeah. So this doesn't disappear. It's just still there.
It's still there.
Okay.
They're part, like part organic, part AR.
Yeah, I got it.
But
And last,
I can't say that fully for all of them. Some babies were able to transmute through that.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Hey Aurora, love and blessings to you.
Greetings.
I was wondering how our ancestors are related to our past lives. Like, are they linked in some way, or are our past lives like considered our ancestors, or are the ancestors mostly just like people related to our bloodline?
I think it's mostly it's both, but often our ancestors are us, incarnated, like maybe our great grandmother or another version of us. So so it's both. So we are both the ancestors, but then also the ancestors. There's some ancestors that maybe that we're not incarnations of. So yeah, it's really important that when we look back at our ancestral past, we understand too that when we're doing, for example, past life regression healing on ourselves, we're also specifically healing our ancestry line and who we were as in the past. Yeah, so great question. I agree with what you said.
Okay, so like one of our like you said, our grandparent or our great grandparent, that could have been us.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Or even I found some parents that like even the mother and the daughter are fractals of one another. Like, or the father and it has a little tiny, mini him that he just helped birth. So, yeah. Even in the same.
Do they speak in the same? Do they speak in the same phrases?
I think they would be. Yeah, I think like a lot of, fathers and say father and son that really look alike and really talk alike, and they're majority of them, they're just fractals of one another, and each one of them is assisting each other heal one another. So the father's helping with the father role, and then the child is helping with the child role, and then they reach high levels of that one fractal of healing, really infinite, because they're actively working on it every day when they live and love each other every day. Isn't that beautiful? Great questions, guys. All right.
Sorry, I forgot.
Great. Go ahead.
I had some trouble. I was filling in. At my grandma's house, so the TV's kind of loud, so I had to move. But like that, you guys all had great questions. It's funny because those were questions that I had for like months ago, and then I forgot. And you guys asked them all. I guess the only thing that popped up is because I think Lisa asked it, like other fractals of us and connecting to them. It just, I guess you can sometimes, like you guys said, just do that like naturally, because that's what it felt like happened. But I was just like, I don't know this person. I don't know nothing about them, but I would see them. And I was just like, I didn't know if they were like, I guess, how do you discern if they're like coming into your dreams. It didn't feel negative. It just felt like we were connected and like they were in pain, but it wasn't like me, but it felt like, you know, like we were connected in some way like that. And I was like, could it be we have the same, like oversoul or something? No.
Exactly. Yeah, so you remember memories of how you're assisting your other fractals or how they are assisting you.
That was my only
And
question.
if you think about it, it's really important work because then you're really healing and getting to healing the rest of the fractals. And then it spreads throughout all the way up, back up to the higher self and the lower self. And since we are in the lowest dimension, the third dimension, the work that we do here is the most profound because then it rises up from here. There's only but rising from the lowest dimension. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, buddies. Good. Okay. All right, Irma, go ahead, love. You can go.
Greetings.
Greetings.
So much love for you guys. Thank you. You touched on this. Somebody had asked a question in Friday's video about how to take in that ether energy. And, I mean, while I'm standing outside and just seeing all those beautiful little swirly sperm and seeing the beautiful blue, just plasmic energy. And I mean, I can see it all around me. Am I just breathing it in? I mean, is that basically what I'm doing?
Yeah, so beautiful. Breathe it in, feel it come in
Beautiful.
through your pores. And yeah, it really reminds you of surrendering, like, okay, how you surrender in the waves. And if you just allow for those waves that are all around you, that ether energy, just to soak in and feel it out. Yeah. Just be the embodiment of it. And I think we did a really good job explaining it this Friday too, in case you heard it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we
Yes.
did a good job explaining that. In case any of you guys are wondering more about what is ether, we explained it there Friday. And just being it, becoming it, and knowing that you are this beautiful creation. Yeah.
It's beautiful to see it, just to see it floating all around you. It's so beautiful. And then one other quick question, a little off topic, but I've worked really hard to eliminate I wish out of my vocabulary. It's something that I've heard you touch on a couple of times. Is there anything special about the one wish we get on our birthday? Is it just kind of a little ceremonial, little meditative?
Yes, but remember, don't just have to make wishes on your birthday. You can also make wishes on, like, when you were born, the moon cycle that you were born on is another portal time. So whatever moon, whether it was a full moon, new moon, waxing gibbous, or so on, so that is a time that you can wish. And they make you say I wish all the time because they're trying to make you say wishes for things that really don't make any sense. But instead, if you embody that, or like A.U.R.A would say, like when she talks about sacred sex and the masculine holding on to his semen and not completely ejaculating every single time, or what happens is that energy becomes more of a potent, so that when you release ejaculate or make that wish, then it is at the highest cultivation and embodiment. So yes, being aware of what you're wishing are actual intents that you're trying to create. So yeah, being very aware of that verbiage. So yes, moon, when you were born, find out when your moon phase was. We're going to be talking more about the moon when we go more into the flat earth. We're going to go back to that Antarctica, and we're going to talk about its sacred union now that we understand this content of the infinite waters. And then I'm channeling what we just talked about. What was your question?
Just if there's any particular ceremony involved in making that.
Oh yes. Okay, so remember also portal dates. So especially like the manifestation course we talked about, portal dates will be another time and space that you can make your wishes, and especially your birthday. That would be the highest potent of energy that crystallizes. So it is in that moment in time, you becoming one with that beautiful baby that you were when you were born, at the highest love light, most crystallized, and so on. So you're really just, maybe envisioning cute little baby you in your arms, and you're really nurturing them during that time, and then feeling the crystallization of how pure you were to come in and birth at that time, and how it was like this gigantic energetic blast of boom that came in. So really honoring and going back. This is another beautiful day, like on your birthday, to go back and think about all the different yous and how in this life, and how much, for example, like if they had trauma, how to nurture them and send them love, because those are times that the veil of you becomes not so stretched out, it becomes one. So then you're able to reach and time travel back and forth to all the yous. So think about the 1-year-old you, the 4-year-old you, the 15-year-old you, the one that decided to smoke pot and then you got in some trouble, whatever you were doing, causing trouble. So it's like, connect to all of those versions, send them love, tell them it's okay, be that guide, be that voice that you heard when you were getting yourself into trouble, and you're like, I should probably not listen to that voice. And maybe you can change those timelines around and be like, okay, this time I'm going to listen to that voice, visualize it, see it, change. You can literally change your timelines and continue to expand the potentials are infinite in ways that you can evolve your wishes and who you will be on your birthday, especially.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Great question. And then it looks like we should be coming up and finishing up. Amelia, hello, beautiful. Come and talk to us.
Hi, Aurora. Hi, everyone. I just joined a few minutes ago. It's my first time here. I just have a question about traveling. So I was watching some of your sessions. A lot of times when you channel, you give the suggestion of go travel. And then I also, in my aura session, my higher self gave me that message as well. So ever since I started to watch your material, I see travel differently now, because before it's just for fun, to relax, enjoy life. But now it's like there's a mission when you go travel. And I was also reading this book about this girl doing ley line work, which I've never heard of. So I was just wondering, how do I combine my passion of travel with a mission? How does that work? Because I really want to do that. I feel a calling to do that.
Beautiful. So you can take some of the sacred teachings from the book of the ley line teachings that you're learning, and understand that they are virtually veins, right? Like veins, how even like this vein still connects to maybe the vein in our foot in some way. It's like a flow, like rivers, right? Like a water system, right? So rivers are, when you look at rivers and lakes, they all connect in some form too to the ocean. Okay, so that's how you can visualize the ley lines as well on Earth, and how they're this circulation of waters that are energetically connected to one another, and they're like the bloodline to Mother Earth. It's her blood, you can say, and what gives life force to much on Earth. And so you can use that combination, use some of your aura and raw that you've learned, and yes, think of it as a mission. So think about that, like, okay, why am I being directed to go there? What is the mission? Talk to your higher self. See what answers that they're already giving you, like, okay, what is the reason why you're going to there? And then when you're there, you're full on, you're looking with your third eye, and you're watching, and you're looking to see. And really the number one purpose to that is us who are in strongest love light, is what we're doing is that we're activating the organic blueprint in that location you're going to. So you really want to be visualizing that blueprint and that land where you're at becoming crystallized, originally 5th dimension. And that's how we keep branching in the bifurcation, branching in the 5th dimension, as it is above, so it is below. And so powerful for you to do that. So thank you for that.
I love you like la 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 la. I love you like la 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 la. I love you like la 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 la. I love you like la 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 la.
It is such an honor to be here with you, explaining what Galactic Soul History book series is about. I am Aurora. I am the founder of A.U.R.A Hypnosis Healing, which you will find here in our beautiful books. Book 1. Every part of this book is divinely beautiful, beginning from the cover and the amount of wisdom and knowledge that is being shared. This book began by A.U.R.A Hypnosis Healing Technique by conducting past life regression on over 330 clients within the last 3 years, where they told their galactic history, their soul journeys, explaining who they were beyond the veil, beyond this earth, in the dimensions, in a universe. These different higher self expressions surprise me just as much as they're going to surprise you. You're going to start reading this book and you're going to want to learn more and more about these different expressions, not wanting to stop. Through these past life regressions, the clients were able to remember consciously what is within the subconscious as far as where it is that they've traveled throughout time and space, their souls have traveled, and they were able to share histories of different dimensions, planets, and universe and alternate worlds that brought forth pieces of the puzzle, pieces we had thought that we had forgotten. And through every self-expression that they share and these different past lives that they're sharing or future, we learn to be able to remember self, because as we are all fractals of one another, through this book, you will learn how, even if a client is talking through a higher self perspective or some of the angelics are talking, you will learn how each one of those have messages even within your life, as we are all expressions and reflections of one another. True history of the galactic history of the universe through all different forms of these higher self expressions, these different clients of throughout internationally throughout the world didn't know each other, but yet we're able to put this beautiful collaboration together. It goes through an infinite amount of how to self-heal, as well as things that are very sensitive, as the My Lab, as how to weave through the artificial matrix and learning to come out from it into the organic matrix. I am a channel to the galactics, and we channeled furthermore information through this book as well. You will remember your soul through other selves. This in itself is infinitely beautiful, because this is why we fractalize from source itself, so that we can learn from one another, sharing each other's journeys throughout our different incarnations, so that we could grow together. So this is what this book is all about, sharing these beautiful infinite expressions that help you grow in the most profound ways, gaining your sovereignty, gaining your power back, recalling memories long lost within perhaps your memory field, activating your crystalline energies, your crystalline bodies, just as you will fall in love with each one of these different clients, these beautiful souls in these soul journeys. You will also learn to fall in love with yourself, because you, with every wisdom, every knowledge gained through every single session that you will learn how to also self-heal within your etheric, your energy body, your physical body, your infinite soul. You will learn all these different things that we thought were not possible, that you will learn that they are possible. Looking forward to meeting you perhaps in the future through whichever form, whether that is on my YouTube channel, whether it is through any class or certification, through a workshop, through a seminar. Thank you for following your heart to mine. I love you, honor you, and respect you. Thank you.